Hi, this is my final prediction on the Z8, and I think what I'm going to say today is going to be very close to the reality of the Z8 when it comes out. Firstly, I think it's going to come out somewhere. I think Nikon will talk about it in January, around the end of January to early February, and within 3 to 4 weeks of that conversation, we are going to see the Z8 in flesh. So the first pressure on the Z8 is to sell a lot, sell a tremendous amount, and it will also have to be profitable. So it'll have to be slightly. It cannot afford to be a very cheap camera. I'm not thinking about the Z8. I don't know. I think it's going to be about 40 to 100 US dollars. I don't think it's going to be a 3800 US dollars camera. I think Nikon would like to make some money on it, and I think it's going to borrow a lot of technologies from the Z9. Of course, you know that. I think the moot point of discussion, the key point of discussion is going to be how much of the video features the Z8 is going to have from the Z9. Number one, what kind of resolution sensor, what kind of sensor it's going to have? Is it going to be 60 something resolution? Because Nikon has talked about competing with the A7R5. And third, is it going to be a camera without a shutter, right? I think the Z8 will have to be a camera that addresses the bulk of the market, that addresses the belly of the market, which means it'll have to have a wide appeal. See, a 61 megapixel camera, a 70 megapixel camera, these are very specialized bodies. Very few people will have it because you're talking about very heavy files, you're talking about very heavy RAW files. You're also talking about a new sensor that Nikon will have to use, and which means additional expenditure on the company. I don't think Nikon is going to do that because like I said, I think Nikon will want to make some money on it. Therefore, in order for the Z8 to have a wide appeal, broad-based appeal, it will have to be in the 40 to 50 megapixel territory. And it will have to offer a lot of the video features that you have already seen in the Z9. Remember, we are not going to see a lot of video features in any of the other cameras. We're not going to see a lot of video features in the Z6 III. We're going to see some almost equivalent to what you see in the A7 IV and in the Canon R6 Mark II. But in Z6 Mark III, we will not see video features equivalent to Fuji's high-end cameras. We are not going to see video features equivalent to Canon's high-end cameras. So how will that gap be filled? That gap can only be filled by the Z8, which means it cannot be a 61 megapixel camera. It cannot be a 70 megapixel camera. It will have to be a middling megapixel camera so that it satisfies a large number of professional photography enthusiasts. At the same time, it's a superb dual usage hybrid camera with most of the video features that the Z9 has. Now, will it have a shutter mechanism? I don't think the Z8 will have a shutter. I don't think because it's going to be a pro body, and Nikon has set the almost the blueprint for how the pro bodies, next Nikon pro bodies, are going to be like. They will not have shutters, and they will have lighted buttons and all that, very high grade build quality and all that. And I think the Z6 III and the Z7 III will be shuttered cameras, will have sensors that are slower. The Z6 Mark III might have the sensor from the Sony A7 IV, and the Z7 III will have the sensor from the A7R5. So that's my prediction for the Z8, the Z6 Mark III, and the Z7 III. See you very soon with another video.